Hello? Do you hear me? This is exceptional. Today I'm going to talk a bit. It's quite rare when I'm streaming while talking, but today I wanted to talk. Oh, I have stereo, I think, so I need to... Let me check. Okay, this should work in mono. Is the sound loud enough? Or you want me to push it more? So maybe something like that. Okay, so today I'm going to talk while practicing. As I said, it's pretty rare when I'm doing that. So feel free to ask any questions. Salut Xavier. N'hésitez pas à me poser des questions en français ou en anglais. Don't hesitate to post questions in French or in English. And I'm listening to music in the background so that you won't be able to listen, but shouldn't be an issue. That's why sometimes I will be not answering a lot. Hi Brian. Salut. Alors pour m'exercer aujourd'hui, j'ai décidé de dessiner une voiture. Pour commencer. C'est quelque chose que je ne dessine jamais en fait, tout simplement. Parce que je ne suis pas très voiture. Comme d'habitude, au début, les premiers dessins sont un peu catastrophiques en général. Alors, des voitures, c'est vraiment le dernier truc que je dessine d'habitude. J'ai vraiment pas la connaissance, aucune connaissance en bagnole. J'ai même pas le permis de conduire. Mais c'est bien de changer un peu de temps en temps. Si vous me posez des questions, j'y répondrai. Hein. Profitez-en parce que d'habitude, je fais pas souvent ça. J'aime bien quand je dessine, quand je m'exerce, ne pas parler et écouter de la musique ou des podcasts. Et aujourd'hui, je me suis dit, ça faisait un moment. Je pense que je vais baisser cette roue un peu plus sur le sol. Ça sera un petit peu plus sympa. Alors, C'est la question numéro un qu'on me pose tout le temps. Je vous avoue que je vais vous faire une confidence. J'en ai un peu marre qu'on me pose la question, mais je vais y répondre parce que je parle aujourd'hui. Je dessine sur Realistic Paint Studio, qui est un logiciel de dessin. J'ai fait une vidéo récemment sur le sujet. Salut Fred, merci, c'est gentil. Qu'est-ce que j'ai comme config? J'ai un 3800 de chez Ryzen et une 1080 en carte graphique. Et là, j'ai une Cintiq 16. Depuis des années et pendant très longtemps, j'ai eu une bambou. Ce qui m'a permis d'apprendre les bases de la sculpture, du digital painting. Effectivement, je dessinais qu'un stylet Tiger. La voiture de sport, c'est cool parce que il y a un côté organique quand même. Et c'est assez stylé en termes de design. Donc du coup, ça permet de s'exercer avant d'attaquer la partie complexe qui est le corps humain. Partie complexe pour moi, du moins. Après, c'est comme tout. Comme j'y connais rien en bagnole, au début, j'ai l'impression d'y connaître quelque chose. Et puis, plus je vais en apprendre, plus je vais me rendre compte que j'en sais rien. Ça, c'est un peu l'histoire de ma vie. Plus j'apprends de choses, plus je me rends compte que j'ai beaucoup de choses à savoir. Meilleur logiciel gratuit pour débuter en animation, le papier et le crayon. C'est pas gratuit, mais... Sinon, Krita est très bien aussi. OpenToons est sympa aussi. Et Blender marche très bien aussi. Je t'invite à aller regarder un tuto que j'ai fait sur Blender d'ailleurs, sur l'anime 2D. Ouais, Brian, je suis plus fan. Plus fan de. Je suis pas trop un grand fan de Photoshop pour être franc avec toi. Je trouve que Photoshop c'est un peu archaïque. J'ai beaucoup utilisé, mais il y a beaucoup mieux en fait sur le marché, que ce soit Clip Studio Paint, Krita. Krita pour moi est le meilleur équivalent à Photoshop gratuit en open source et ça va très très vite le développement. Et je trouve que c'est un bon soft dans lequel investir son temps et son savoir. Parce que comme ça avance très très vite et que Photoshop ça avance pas très très vite, ben, il y a de fortes chances que comme Blender par rapport à d'autres logiciels connus, un jour ça prenne le dessus sur l'industrie. Et que du coup ça se développe encore plus, etc. etc. C'est ça qui est assez fort avec l'open source, c'est que en fait c'est fait par les utilisateurs, enfin c'est pas fait par les utilisateurs, mais c'est pensé vraiment avec les utilisateurs main dans la main. Il n'y a pas de notion mercantile derrière, il y a vraiment une notion de on veut faire le meilleur produit et puis point barre. Du moins pour les projets qui marchent. Alors je t'ai vu faire des lives sans parole. Est-ce que t'en as marre de parler? Question feedback sur la réaction des gens. Euh, En fait, je parle pas dans mes lives parce que en fait, je m'exerce quasiment tous les jours en dessin. Et c'est juste, je clique sur streamer, quoi, le bouton streamer sur OBS. Euh, la plupart des gens me demandent pourquoi je parle pas, parce que je vais pas parler tous les jours à chaque fois que je m'exerce, quoi. C'est. Je. Comment dire je partage pour les gens qui ont envie de voir comment je m'exerce et que ça pourrait motiver de dessiner en même temps que moi. Je considère que je suis pas obligé d'expliquer tout ce que je fais et je suis pas obligé de répondre à toutes les questions que je vois, sinon en fait ça devient plus un live de dessin. Et puis j'ai quand même, on va pas se mentir, j'ai quand même la quasi-totalité des questions que j'ai ne concernent pas le dessin, mais concernent quel logiciel j'utilise et c'est quoi la marque de ma Cintiq. Ce qui au final devient de la pub et je sais pas forcément ce que je cherche à faire. La plupart des gens, du moins qui débutent en dessin ou en 3D, considèrent que l'outil est plus important que l'apprentissage de la théorie et la pratique. Et c'est dommage parce que bah en fait, ça nous contraint vachement l'outil en fait, dans notre manière de penser. C'est plus important d'apprendre à savoir dessiner que de savoir sur quel soft on dessine. C'est la raison pour laquelle je change beaucoup de soft aussi. C'est parce que c'est des expériences de dessin différentes et ça me rappelle en permanence que ce qui est important c'est le dessin. Et peu importe si je dessine sur Realistic Paint, sur Paintstorm, sur Krita, sur un certain nom de logiciel.com, ça change pas si je sais pas dessiner un truc, je saurais pas le dessiner ailleurs. Et ça, c'est malheureux, mais il y a, on le dit pas assez, quoi. Enfin, je l'ai dit beaucoup, mais bon, il y a un moment où ça devient compliqué à répéter H24. J'utilise une surface de 16 pouces. Je travaille dans le domaine artistique ou pas du tout? Effectivement, je travaille dans le domaine du jeu vidéo. Merci, Fivel. Encore une fois, je tiens à préciser, ces lives, c'est vraiment les backstage, quoi. C'est-à-dire, vous me voyez vraiment faire mes erreurs. C'est vraiment practice session, quoi. C'est vraiment comme si. C'est vraiment. Comment dire? C'est vraiment ce que je fais pour m'exercer. Je considère pas du tout ça comme quelque chose de fini, de final, mais quelque chose de. Des sujets d'étude, quoi. C'est des gammes, en fait. Et il n'y a que comme ça qu'on arrive à faire le bon dessin quand on a besoin de faire le bon dessin. Alors, si tu veux me donner des sujets, n'hésite pas, il n'y a pas de souci. 40 cm, tu fais des grands mouvements du coup de levée. Alors en fait, j'ai des accoudoirs et je dessine principalement effectivement du coude. Mais donc si par exemple, en gros si tu veux, je dessine avec... je dessine avec cette partie du bras à partir de là. Vraiment, je considère que je dessine à partir de là. Et par contre, ça c'est pour les grandes lignes. Ça c'est pour les moyennes lignes. Et puis mes doigts, c'est pour les petites lignes. Donc si je dois faire par exemple un grand cercle, je vais utiliser mon coude. Alors ça va laguer, donc c'est pas très pratique. Mais je pense que tu as compris l'idée. Jamais je fais ça en général. Pour les cercles moyens, je vais utiliser peut-être mon avant-bras encore là. Par contre, pour les plus petits cercles, soit je zoome, j'aime bien zoomer en fait de manière générale quand je suis en digital pour pas m'abîmer la vue. Sinon, j'utilise principalement le poignet pour faire des formes comme ça. Et puis si j'ai du petit détail à faire, je vais utiliser mes doigts là pour le coup. Je suis plus précis. Après, encore une fois, il n'y a pas de. Comment dire, il n'y a pas de bonne ou de mauvaise manière de faire. Moi, je considère qu'il y a des gens qui dessinent extrêmement bien avec. Toujours avec les doigts. Donc, par exemple, ils vont te faire une longue ligne comme ça. Je suis incapable de le faire, hein, mais ils vont te faire une longue ligne comme ça avec les doigts. Ils vont te dessiner tout leur dessin va être fait avec les doigts. Ça va être super. Et à côté, il y en a, ils vont faire des grands traits avec le coude, etc. Je pense que c'est une très très mauvaise chose que les profs de dessin ou les cours en ligne ou les tutos et tout n'arrêtent pas de dire il faut absolument dessiner avec le bras et prendre le crayon par-dessus, etc. Parce qu'en fait, tu dessines comme tu veux, comme tu peux, et ce qui fonctionne le mieux avec ton corps, en fait. Moi, je donne souvent l'exemple de. Il y a un guitariste de jazz que j'ai connu très très tôt, enfin, quand je dis que j'ai connu, que j'ai écouté très très tôt, qui s'appelle Django Reinhardt. Et en fait, c'est un musicien qui est absolument incroyable, hein, qui a posé beaucoup de fondamentaux dans la musique jazz. Et en fait, lui, il avait que deux doigts pour jouer de la main gauche et il avait une vélocité comme personne n'a une vélocité avec cinq doigts, quoi. Donc, c'est pas un problème en fait, la manière on, dont on joue du stylet ou on joue du crayon. Ce qui est important, c'est d'avoir les concepts en tête et les concepts, ils sont les suivants, hein, c'est-à-dire dessiner avec des primitives, donc des cubes, des cylindres, ça change pas, hein, des cylindres, des cubes, des sphères, et assembler ces formes. Donc si par exemple je veux faire, je sais pas, je veux faire un bras, je vais avoir un cylindre qui va faire le haut du bras, je vais mettre une sphère pour le deltoïde, je vais mettre un autre cylindre pour l'avant-bras, une sphère pour la masse générale ici, puis à l'intérieur ici, on va se mettre une sphère ou un cube, en général on peut mettre un cube aussi, et puis la fin du bras, ça va être un cube par exemple, au niveau du poignet. On assemble ces formes. Voilà, je vais juste gommer pour vous montrer. On assemble ces formes. Et on se retrouve avec un contour de bras. Je le fais vite, hein, mais c'est juste pour vous montrer. Et avec quelques notions d'anatomie, on peut vite se retrouver avec quelque chose qui fonctionne. Et ça, c'est les concepts. C'est ça qu'il faut savoir. C'est ça qu'il faut travailler, qu'il faut savoir. Et si vous dessinez avec le pied des cubes, et que vous arrivez à dessiner avec le pied des cubes, et que c'est comme ça que vous êtes à l'aise à dessiner des cubes, bah dessinez comme ça en fait. Pour moi, c'est pas important la manière dont on dessine. Ce qui est important, c'est ce qu'on dessine et ce qui se passe entre le cerveau et la main. Et c'est plus compliqué. Sincèrement, moi je suis pas encore arrivé à. J'en suis très très loin d'être arrivé à la fin du voyage de l'apprentissage. Je pense que de manière générale, un meilleur conseil que j'aurais pu recevoir quand j'ai commencé le dessin, c'est dessiner beaucoup plus que ça, dessiner sur papier surtout. C'est très frustrant quand on a du matos digital. Moi j'avais une bambou à l'époque, c'est très frustrant de se dire qu'en fait on va dessiner sur du papier pour commencer. Parce que c'est magique, hein, le digital, on fait CTRL Z, il n'y a pas de souci, quoi. Mais on rentre vite dans des patterns qui sont pas terribles, quoi. Parce qu'on n'apprend pas vraiment, quoi. Non, en fait, on accepte les erreurs. Comment dire? On accepte le fait qu'il y ait des erreurs sans prendre le temps. Là, hier, par exemple, j'étais dans un workshop de dessin en ligne et le gars disait, ouais, il dessinait sa cage thoracique, il l'a dessiné comme ça, quoi. Moi, derrière, j'étais en mode genre, mais putain, mais allez, finis ta cage thoracique, quoi. Et lui, il était comme ça. Et avec du recul, je me dis, bah en fait, c'est lui qui a raison. C'est parce qu'en fait, il va peut-être passer 50 ans à dessiner sa cage thoracique. Mais le jour où il a besoin d'un papier et d'un crayon, d'un post-it, et qu'il dessine comme ça, il n'a pas de souci. Alors ça, je l'ai fait beaucoup. dessiner comme ça. Et là, en fait, tu dessines beaucoup plus juste du premier coup. C'est pas parfait, mais par exemple, là, je viens d'utiliser le CTRL Z, c'est pas parfait, mais voilà, en ralentissant, on peut dessiner plus vite, enfin plus propre. Space Cats, I can speak English, so if you want to ask any questions, don't worry, I can answer in English with my bad French accent, but no worry, I can do that. Non, ce logiciel n'est pas gratuit, mais il coûte $19, ce qui est absolument rien pour un logiciel de dessin. Moi, j'ai tendance à dessiner à cette vitesse en général. Bah, vous voyez souvent dans mes lives. Hein. C'est quelque chose qu'il faut que j'apprenne à contrôler. Mais je trouve qu'il y a un côté aussi positif de dessiner rapidement, c'est l'énergie qu'on peut mettre dans le trait, qu'on a moins quand on dessine lentement. Je me suis récemment acheté des références photos assez incroyables de poses. Ça m'a changé ma vie en termes d'études du dessin. Salut. C'est quelque chose que vraiment je recommanderais de faire si vous êtes sérieux ou sérieuse à propos du dessin, c'est de vous prendre des bons packs de poses. Sur ArtStation, il y en a des très bons de Graphite Studio. Et ça permet vraiment... Enfin, il y a une vraie différence le fait d'avoir des photos de qualité versus ce qu'on trouve gratos sur le net, quoi. Alors, on trouve pas mal de trucs bien sur le net, mais en gratos. Mais le fait d'avoir des photos bien pensées en termes de lighting, de composition, de pose, il n'y a rien à faire. Hein, ça fait la diff. Moi, j'ai pas de lag dans ce soft, sincèrement. J'ai entendu pas mal de gens qu'on avait. C'est un soft qui est très gourmand en termes de GPU, donc il faut une bonne carte graphique pour le faire tourner. Moi, j'ai une 1080, donc j'ai pas trop de problèmes. À vous de voir pour si ça tient. Est-ce que je peux exporter mon croquis dans Photoshop? Non, c'est un truc, je pense que je vais remonter au développeur. Tu peux pas exporter sans le fond. C'est vraiment un soft de dessin qui a pour objectif unique de recréer une expérience traditionnelle. Ça n'a pas pour objectif, avec quelques outils numériques, ça n'a pas pour objectif d'être... C'est pour ça que je l'apprécie d'ailleurs. Hein, c'est la raison unique pour laquelle je l'apprécie. Ce soft, c'est que il fait une chose et très très bien, c'est-à-dire de synthétiser le réel. Il le fait mieux que tous les autres softs. Même que j'ai envie de dire Rebelle, qui est très très bon aussi, mais qui est beaucoup plus buggé et qui crée. On a beaucoup moins la sensation de dessiner sur du papier. À nouveau, ça devrait être à moins que vous soyez des cracks en dessin, ça devrait être le cadet de votre souci, le logiciel. Encore une fois. Je suis désolé de dire ça, ça fait très mal, mais j'aurais tellement aimé qu'on me le disait beaucoup plus quand j'ai commencé le dessin. Il y a des bons bouquins, oui, effectivement, de dessin. Un qui est très très bien, c'est Morpho, de Michel Loricella, je crois qu'il s'appelle. C'est des très très bons petits bouquins, pas très chers et et qui ont une super structure. Évidemment, l'auteur est un crack en anatomie et franchement, ça vaut vraiment le coup. Les bouquins de Steve Huston, je crois qu'il s'appelle, Huston, sont très bien aussi. J'ai pas mal de bouquins de manière générale, j'adore lire. Et c'est vrai qu'en dessin, c'est rare. Enfin, pour être franc avec vous, je préfère regarder quelqu'un dessiner plutôt que de regarder des dessins. Pour apprendre, je trouve que c'est beaucoup plus logique en fait. On apprend en fait du timing. On apprend de comment, dans quel ordre, dans quel temps les choses se sont passées. Et c'est des informations qui manquent beaucoup dans des livres. Après, il y a des très bons livres de dessin, hein, Loomis, Bridgman. Bridgman est dur à comprendre. Sketch Daily, c'est pas mal. Après, il faut savoir faut savoir prendre des refs. Hein. C'est dur de savoir prendre des refs. C'est une erreur que j'ai faite assez souvent et je suis, comme je vous le disais, hein, j'ai aucunement la prétention de me considérer comme un crack en dessin. Je suis vraiment au début du voyage. Mais je considère que savoir prendre des refs, j'ai compris ce que ça voulait dire, savoir prendre des refs, le jour où je me suis acheté des refs. En fait. Parce que mine de rien, encore une fois, la qualité photo, la qualité de lighting, de lumière, vous le voyez, hein, les derniers dessins que j'ai fait en live là, viennent de refs professionnels. Ça n'a strictement rien à voir en termes de ce que je peux comprendre et apprendre de l'image. Structural, so Ross, hi, welcome to the stream. What do you find the main differences between drawing men and women to be structurally? Ouais, Jack Ham, c'est super. J'en ai deux de lui, il est vraiment top. So I would say that, Ross, I will say that when drawing the man, so you have the rib cage. When drawing the man, I will say that it's more wide to the top, of course, because of the muscles, and it's more boxy toward the pelvis. I'm going to remove a bit the sides. And you have the external obliques that are there, and the most important shape when you blend the rib cage and the neck. Let's add the trapezius muscles. The most important thing is the pecs, at least for the torso. So you have the clavicular section there. Let's draw it like that. And so the sternum here, if you take this distance, you multiply it by 2 approximately. I'm a bit off there. I'm going to lower the rib cage. You multiply it by 2. You add it. You are at the bottom of the rib cage. You add it once more. There you are at the ACES points, anterior superior iliac crest, sorry. And here from if you take this distance, you add 1 there and 1 there. You have the bowl here. From here to here, you are at the pit of the neck. And then what's important for the male figure is to connect the pecs. So let's say that underneath the acromion process there, you have the bowl of the humerus that will go approximately to the bottom of the rib cage, like that. One important thing to note is that the pecs are connecting to this part of the clavicle. Then it connects to the inside of the humerus. Then it connects back to the costal section of the rib cage, and then it connects back like that, and then you have an arc like that. So this shape looks like a fin, something like that. So let's say that now you have the arm to the side. So you take the humerus, you create an arc like that to be sure of the proportions. You will have the same thing that connects there, same thing that can connect there, but here it's a stretch because here it's underneath it's the void basically, and then it connects back here to the rib cage, and then you can attach the pec like that. And you can see that it's very geometric the way I'm showing it to you, but actually I think it works. And and one thing that you can put on top of that to make it more male is to emphasize the sternocleidomastoid muscles that are coming behind the ear, sorry. I don't know why French people are putting H everywhere, but behind the ear. And then you have a small section, triangular section here that connects there. And if you look from the back of the neck, so let's add a neck like that. If you connect, so here behind the ear, you have behind the ear you have the sternocleidomastoid muscle connecting to the clavicle, going there approximately. Then you have the triangular section there, and from behind here you have the trapezoid muscles that rolls back to the clavicle in the front and then goes back to the back. So here from the back you will see coming in front, you will see attaching to the front, you will see the trapezius muscle, and this helps creating the bulge of the shape here for the male. So you emphasize this for the male, you make sure the pecs are pretty cool, and then you add the deltoid on top. So the deltoid is not round, it's not like a ball, it's like more of a teardrop shape, so something like this. And you can even break it into planes. So you have the top planes that you can create like a circle, and you can create a cone shape like that. And if you put the clavicle inside like this, the clavicle is basically like a handlebar, like a bicycle handlebar, like this. And on top of that, or no, it's not on top, it's nearby here. We have what we call the acromion process that connects back to the scapula like that. But basically, this protects the ball of the humerus that connects to the scapula like that. And actually, this should be a bit lower. And like that, a bit angled. But anyway, you can block that into planes. So you have one plane like that, one plane like that, and you basically box it out. Something like that. I'm drawing fast there, but it's just to show you the idea. What tool am I using? 1, 2, something like that. So yes, basically make sure if it's a male to stretch the nipples where they should stretch along the form. And then for the bottom part, according to the ASIS points, so the ASIS anterior superior iliac spine that connects the pelvis shape to the front of the pelvis shape arcs. This is the iliac crest, sorry. Iliac crest. Looks like this. So those are the ASIS points. Behind you have the psis point, the posterior superior spine, sorry. That usually creates like a small triangle like that, and this should connect, sorry. Like that. And from that you can connect what we call the Apollo's belt. So you connect that, and here you have the great trochanter. And what's important for the male figure, so from there, from the great trochanter, you can add one half distance, approximately there. And for the male figure, for the leg, let me just drop this down, approximately there, maybe a bit lower. What I find important for the male, oh, this is too high, you can see. What I find important for the male is to drop down this apex of the curve down. And if you're designing a girl, so let's say that this part is male and this part is female. Here, of course, you will add the breast on top of the pecs. Last time I had a question that was pretty weird, like, oh, this is a female with pecs. I was like, yes, girl do have pecs too. But just on top of that, you have fat tissues that forms the breast, and that connects like that. Okay, so here you can add on top of the great trochanter, which is the point where what's the name in English? It's not the tibia, it's the, it's not the fibula, it's the other one. I don't remember the name in English, sorry. But basically it's the leg bone. The femur, sorry. Basically here you come there, then you have the tibia there that rolls inside, creating the arch of the foot. Here you have the fibula, goes lower actually. And what is important for the female leg, comparing to the male version, is here the curve should be higher. So let me show you that. So you can see that here I'm going down, then following the great trochanter in a boxy way. Here I can be a bit more round, but still a bit squarish. And here the point, as you can see, goes higher than this one. This creates a very feminine looking leg. Then, really important thing, add this box in the middle, or you can also put a cylinder that represents the kneecap, the knee portion. And here we're going to connect first from the ASIS. We're going to connect this muscle called the sartorius, and then inside we can connect the adductor muscle. And then here, as you can see, we can create a nice bowl for what is called, what is behind the gastrocnemius muscle. So if you look from the side, this muscle there is the gastrocnemius muscles. And then what we do is we put what we call the soleus muscle close to the tibia, and here we have the some how do we call that? Some tendons for the for the feet. And let's put a feet quickly there. It's important to pronounce the arch. So this, to my opinion, creates a more feminine look. So let me show you again by just blurring the thing. So here, for a more feminine look, I can lower down a bit the trapezius muscles, and I can also box out a bit the top of the chest, make sure I add the feminine parts. And here I can, sometimes I like to thin out the thigh. Make sure the apex of the curve is there. I can round out the shapes there, and here you can also make a straight. And as you can see, it's close to be a straight curve. And if this were on the male side, you can add more wing here, more wings. Actually, it's muscles that comes from the back called the lats. And then here you can emphasize the external oblique. Of course, you can emphasize the abs. Create a mark very deeply the Apollo's belt. Down, more boxy shape. Same, you can here add the more the most important muscle of the leg, which divides the inner and the outer part, the sartorius muscle. And you can see directly how this looks more masculine and this looks more feminine. Yes, usually they have wider hips, as you said, but it's also more in the gestural way. Like the gesture, as you can see here, it's more like the different. Usually, if you observe carefully the way people of different genders are standing, you have. It's very cliche, but you have like. Usually legs are not doing the same thing. They are crossing. They are one leg is close to the center of gravity, and one maybe is like very gesturally flowing, or the other one is like maybe going there. You can see, you can feel the. It's something that that's why you have to do a lot of gesture drawing, actually. That's why I'm doing that. That's why I'm doing a lot of gesture drawings. I think it's really important when learning how to draw, to learn the cliché first and what we call the symbols. Symbols are like things that you remember and that you want to push toward to. So for instance, you want to create an arm. You have many ways to create an arm. So the first thing is like you can know your anatomy and like let me show you, for instance, let me show off basically what I've learned. So you can create, for instance, let's see. So I can create an arm and like put the biceps, the brachioradialis, things like that. I know the thumb part will be there. I know the tricep will be there. I can do that. Add the divide the deltoid into the different striation that it is in. Inside, I can put the tendon of the tricep. I can here add the extensors. I can add the flexor in the front that comes there. I can box out the hand and like do all the things. I can add the the muscles that extends for the thumb. I can do all that shit. But at the end, what I'm looking for is this, and this. And this tells exactly the same thing in a different style, but this is what I'm looking for, instead of like knowing the anatomy and stuff. But the anatomy helps you better understand the symbols, I think. So I have many defaults to correct actually when I'm practicing, and that's why I'm practicing a lot these days when drawing. So first thing, I'm pressing too hard on my Cintiq. And this is something I want to correct, be more subtle. But sometimes I'm like not confident enough, so I know that I have a tendency to push a bit to the nib. One other thing I want one other default I want to correct is I'm zooming a lot, but it's also like something that I'm doing naturally because I don't want to squint my eyes. And sometimes I'm using too much digital tools, such as the lasso tool and transform tool. That's why I'm liking this software a lot, because I'm using a lot the eraser instead. That I think it's much better because I have to redraw, and I'm using less and less digital tools, and when I'm drawing back on the paper I can feel the difference a lot. So all of the hairs, the facial features, etc. For me, this is the cookie on the cookie. It's like doing head for me is much more easy than doing the rest of the body. So usually when I'm doing a pose, I focus on this, and because the head, I always know that I will do something that is not awesome, but that will work, because it's easier to learn, I think, for me, and it's easier to create a more organic idea of the head than the body. The body is pretty complex because of all the bones, all of the gesture, the mechanics and things. Doing heads is usually what an artist will do when you ask him or her to draw something. You will rarely see people doing commissions, live commissions, like in different shows, doing like full body. Some masters do, but it's really rare. It's because it's like so much intellectual effort compared to drawing a head. So for instance, drawing a head, you can quickly create the easiest thing is creating a head from the front face, because it's symmetrical, so you don't have to think a lot. Basically, sorry to tell the truth, you can basically draw one side, the other one you got it for free in terms of intellectual process. So this is like, you can draw like a 5-minute head. I'm not saying that it's great. I'm saying that it's less demanding in terms of cognition, I would say. Nobody tells you that in different drawing courses, but it's actually true, I think. Drawing a head from the profile view, it's one intellectual process less because you don't have to do the symmetry. You create the profile, you make sure that the nose align with the ears, you put the eye in a triangular shape. This, usually I'm adding the eyebrow on top of that. Make sure you have a plane for the jaw, and then you can from there you can design. I mean, like the hard job from there is to design, but the construction, in terms of construction and drawing something that looks like a head, it's not the hardest thing ever compared to the rest. Then you have the 3/4 view. So 3/4 view is something that is less simple, but if you have a good construction method, you can go with it usually. So I'm using something close to the Loomis shape, but sometimes I deviate from that. So something like that. And then depends if you want to make it cartoony or if you want to make it more realistic. I think when learning how to draw, or learning anything actually, and this is what I'm doing when I'm learning anything. Basically, I have many passions in life. I'm doing music since I'm playing music since 20 years plus, something like that. I've been doing magic card tricks, magic card manipulation, and since a long time too. Been programming, doing web development, things like that. I always started by learning the hardest thing ever possible. Like, for instance, I didn't start learning how to program using Unity or Game Maker or things like this. I started the hard way, not being able to do a video game for a long time. I started by doing C, which is like a programming language that asks you to manage memory and things like this. When I learned how to draw, like a few years ago, like seriously, I mean, I decided to learn how to draw heads directly from 3/4 view. I decided to learn how to draw heads from below, and I decided to draw the body in motion. And I learned tons of anatomy, of course. When I decided to sculpt, to learn how to do ZBrush, I went directly to the anatomy, because I knew this was the hardest and the complex stuff to master. And when you master the complex stuff, the rest is easy. Like, I mean, for instance, I love playing jazz music and blues and funk and things like this. When you ask someone that plays jazz, blues, or funk to play like 4 chords for a ballad or something like that, it's actually a lot of fun for the player because it's easy in terms of technical issue. It's not easy in terms of how you express it. It's easy in terms of technical techniques. I mean, it's the same for drawing. It's the same for magic tricks. It's the same for music. When you experience the hardest, the complex stuff, the easy stuff is easy in terms of techniques, and the rest is just emotion. It's just your artistic sense. It's where you can freely express what you want to express. So drawing a head like this now, for me, I feel more comfortable. Drawing a head from below is still hard, and it's still hard for lots of artists. That's why each time I'm going to a stream of an artist that I admire, I ask him or her to draw a head from below or from the top, because I want to see the process. And sometimes people, you can see that they have learned and they have drawn thousands of heads from below. And this is hard. This is really, really hard. And this is the stuff that gets you do the simple stuff with much more confidence. So I'm going to fail, of course, with this, but because I'm not a master at drawing heads, and I'm not a master at all, actually. I need to learn a lot of stuff, but I've done some. But this is something that, as beginners, you fear. And even pros, sometimes professionals are fearing that. That's why a lot of professionals are using references and 3D, and they are drawing on top of 3D. And you can see a lot of comics artists drawing on top of 3D things. And if their goal is just to express a story and to create a nice story, it's okay. I don't have any issue with that. But if their goal is to become illustrator and to master their craft, it's not the same thing. You can see already how I'm starting to mess the perspective. This is much more hard. This is harder to talk on top of a drawing from below than a 3/4 view. And again, you won't see a lot of tutorials showing you how to do that, because it's hard to explain, it's hard to do. It's the hardest stuff for an artist, for a portrait artist to do. It's drawing the head from below, and like same thing with foreshortening. Like you won't see a lot of courses explaining you how to draw poses in complex situations. You will often see the standing positions. You will often see the sitting position, but you will never see the poses where the guy is like jumping ahead with the hand forward, and unless it's a Spider-Man pose. And that's where the fundamentals comes back. Like here, for instance, if I want to correct my drawing there that is pretty messy, what I can do is, again, put a box on top of this guy. Make sure the box fits well. And here it's a cylinder that actually bends like that. On top of that, I add a midline, center line. And now I'm more confident to draw this head, and then I come back on top. This is a drawing from below is something that I really need to iterate on. Usually I cannot get it right from the first time, sorry. And again, the important thing is to think about the volumes and what are we drawing actually. In this case, I think the eye is quite high, so let me lower it down. You can see how I'm struggling. So here the ear is a bit too far, so I'm going to push it forward. and I need to add a lot more cranium volume from the back, as you can see. And when I started to draw a lot of studies from like below first, it's really hard to find references from this angle, so I started to do 3D work to get my references. But I would say that for me the excuse for drawing that kind of pose was always to add a beard. Usually when you see me adding a beard, a bird, beard is the fluffy things. Sorry. When I'm adding a beard, it's usually that basically I'm lying to myself about this section. And you'll see a lot of artists like actually lying to themselves. I think it's kind of funny to like see that kind of stuff. And also adding glasses. Automatically adding glasses helps you to define the perspective, and as humans we tend to better understand the volumes with glasses. But again, do this, and if it's not intentional, do this with care, because you're not going to study. You're going to lie to yourself. If you have any questions about drawing, about anything that I'm doing on this channel, feel free to ask. Again, I will say it once more, it's pretty rare when I'm talking in live streams, just because I don't like to talk when I exercise usually. And I prefer to answer questions when I'm talking, so. The only thing I don't like with realistic paint is that we cannot control the size lower than this one with the color pencil, and I really like to sometimes draw thinner. Oh, Ross, I think that a lot of French people can understand my English. N'est-ce pas, les Français et les Françaises? Je suis à peu près sûr que les Français parlent bien l'anglais. Faut qu'on arrive à enlever cette image de nous, hein. On comprend, du moins. Salut, et je ne citerai pas ton blaze. Baguette. Baguette with COVID right now, it's a bit complicated, you know. At least for me, I don't like to go and buy a baguette anymore. Fortunately, I miss that a lot. Salut. What am I doing? I'm talking with you, I'm answering questions from the chat, and I'm drawing, practicing drawing, as always, wanting to become better at drawing. And the only way is to practice a lot. And welcome to the stream. Okay, I'm going to correct something there. Push the ribcage a bit back. Totally messed up the proportions right now for the arm. Let me see how I can correct that. So you see I'm pressing harder, it means that I'm not confident with my line. I know myself. So this is a mess, so I'm going to redo it from there. I want to have a tension there, like in the reference. And I want to push the ribcage a bit back, like that. Yeah, I don't know how you got there too. Probably click on the link, no? What usually people are doing are to come to a stream. Oula, c'est une vieille vidéo ça. Je pense que je vais refaire des vidéos de dessin parce que j'ai un peu progressé en dessin depuis les dernières vidéos que j'ai faites. J'aimerais rajouter quelques petits conseils. Et vous pouvez déjà commencer à râler, ça sera en anglais. Hein. Realistic paint. Oh, you have autoplay, so yes. Okay, I think I'm getting there with this pose, which is pretty hard to get right. I'm not getting the right angle though for this arm. I want to push it more inside. Okay. This is getting really messy, so I'm going to erase a bit. Trying not to lose the focus of what the pose is, of the story. What is the story of the pose actually? So the ribcage is poking in front of the rest. There. Maybe I can make the arm a bit lower, like this. Let's add this end on top of the breast. When I'm doing gesture drawing, usually I like to create the finger like a wireframe, and I like to connect it with the rest of the palm, like that. So again, you can see, trying to get the structure right. It's quite hard. Anyway, drawing is like a fight for me. It's like a nice fight, I would say. You are always fighting with the forms and trying to express them as simply as possible, and that's what makes gesture even harder. It's like You don't have a lot of things to rely on when doing gesture. It's like simple stuff that should be placed in a very elegant way. Or not placed, actually. That's the hard thing when doing gesture. You have to synthesize, you have to simplify things. Simplify curves. And sometimes letting very elegant curve poke through and taking over. Make this leg very, very high actually. Let me going to lower it a bit like that, and here how long am I streaming? I don't know. Not too late because it's like past midnight here. Pour les genoux, tu peux rewind le stream, j'ai expliqué pas mal de choses sur le sujet. En vrai, c'est trop haut, je vais les baisser. One thing I actually like to do when I'm creating more finished pieces is I like to, so let me just show you that. I'm just going to erase a bit everything and I'm just going to redo a line work on top, pushing the shapes that goes in front more dark than the rest. So I know for sure that this part is in front, so I'm going to, for instance here the bicep is like behind, so I'm putting it with a lighter curve. This is in the back, so I can put it light. I'm just basically working with this simple idea. This helps read the thing a bit better. I know that the ribcage pokes in front, so I'm going to add it actually in front. So the hand here is in front, so I'm creating a more important weight for the curve. small straight line to indicate the boxy shape of the knee. With two circles, you can define the small toes, sorry. And with like a bean shape, you can define the big toe. And this is should be a bit wider, like this. Fits are hard too. They're not the hardest thing, but they are quite hard already. So here, in case I'm not sure, I still use 3D shapes to help me. So this is the gastrocnemius. Here we have the arch of the foot. And the foot is basically in this direction, so I'm putting the arch on top. I think I will change the orientation of the eye. This part is quite hard because it's small, and my brush, I cannot change it to a smaller brush, so I have to play with the tilt aspect. And this is completely off. This comes from there, actually, so I need to give more mass to that part, and here are actually the trapezius muscles. So let me just mark the sternocleidomastoid muscle a bit more, like that, to create the tension. And from behind there will be the other one. So you can see it's pretty strong, so I'm going to smooth that a bit, and maybe only with a small tiny line I can put this straight to emphasize the idea. And again here, from behind actually, we have the trapezius muscles coming there. But let's try to simplify that. Okay, so when this is too heavy. And planting the figure on the ground using a circle is something that helps me a lot. As it probably it's probably out of context, but do you have any recommendation on how to handle your back from sitting continuously in front of a computer? Is there any specific exercise or chair maybe? I'm the worst at that. Actually, I have pain in my back, pain in my arm. I'm very bad for health advice. Sorry. The only thing I can say is that I'm using a software called Stretchly. Stretchly. This one. That sometimes I use. Let me show you. It's basically something that that brings a pop-up in front of you and tells you like stretch and do something like that. But yeah, I won't give you any advice on that. I'm really bad at that actually, and this is really hard for me to, intellectually speaking, to think about my health, body. I would say it's really. I how can I say that? I always push the limits. To give you an example, for instance, now I should be already sleeping. But I want to do some more, so I'm going to do some more. Which is bad. I was planning to develop a software that that like makes me a little game that is really hard to, or a puzzle to solve that's really hard, in order not to skip the window, and like forces me. Otherwise, it like my computer restarts, or like shut down. But I didn't have time for that. But I will probably one day I will like do that kind of stuff. Just in order to go to sleep, you know. So always draw the support leg first. The leg that carries the weight. In this case it's the back one. Then you can add the one in front. I'll try for this one to get much more gestural. Maybe I will do more gestures like this, actually. By the way, I'm not studying the male figure because it is easier, and this relates back to what I said previously. I like to tackle the hardest thing first when I'm learning to do something. So instead of redrawing this arm, I'm going to cut it and redraw it from scratch. I messed the gesture and the negative space between the something like that will be much nicer. I'm just going to color the leg that is the further away. This further away. Wow, that's hard to say for a French guy. Further away. By the way, the music I'm listening is Bill Evans, if you want to know. Great jazz pianist, one of the best. With Michel Petrucciani, with Keith Jarrett. So here I'm going for a more straight curve like that. It's going to be much nicer, as you can see. Bam. something like that. Let's color that, a bit of shadow here and there, and I'm going to scale that down. Let's put the ground. Let's do another one from the back. In a more gestural way. So again, I'm looking for the first for the leg that supports, that's carrying the weight. In this case, it's the one further away. Again. Whoa, sorry. Wow. Control F. Okay. And in the front, so this is more or less like this in this case. So this, I got a big swoopy line like this. Swoop. And then from here I can place the knee. Draw the foot. For now I'm going with a very simple shape for the foot. I will correct that later when I will erase a bit. In this case I've extended the pose a bit. I've pushed it from my reference a bit more. On the back you always have, on the male and on the female figure, this triangle called the sacrum triangle, I think, in English. And those two dots, those two dimples at the end, are called the posterior superior iliac spine. And actually they are a bit more here, and this is lifted so you can see, you can feel a box like this inside this gesture. So here I have a foreshortening for the arm coming out, going in, and then I have the hand like that. This is quite a difficult pose, actually, I think, because it has some very subtle changes in terms of anatomy and forms. So the hand is, the other end is lying there. So one tips I can give you for hands and arms, just place the hand before drawing the arm. You're always going to reach for the good proportions when doing like that. Here we can do a bit more design shape design, sorry. Let's see the result from the other side, if the balance is right or not. Seems okay. So here, because the knee is the elbow is pointing at us, we have three. Actually, if you look at inside the bones, you have this bone going to the pinky finger, connecting like that. And you have the condyles there making, so this is the humerus bone, and it's making like something like this, where you can see a triangle with the bones. Here we'll join the scapula with the rest. And here is basically the scapula that you can see floating from the other side, poking through the back. I've been drawing for I started to draw seriously in 2016, October 2016. But when I say seriously, it's like it's not the main thing I'm doing. It's like I don't have that much time to draw actually. Lately I've been drawing much more than before, but actually I'm not. This is not my. This is something I enjoy to do, but this is not the main thing again I'm doing. Yes, I agree with what Ross said. That's why I said I've been drawing more seriously since 2016. I think it's more important to compare your old drawings with the new ones. That's how you understand from where you go. From where you went. From where? Wow, it's so late to speak English correctly for me. To see the progress you've done, basically. You got my point, I think. Okay. How I have progressed? I can show you my old stuff if you want. I think I've progressed pretty much good compared to the really old stuff. Let me show you. If I have them, actually. Okay. This from October 2017 to March 2018, everyday drawing practice. Just to show you how much stuff I've been doing at this time. So that's about 6 months of drawing every day. But actually, some practice was good, some practice was bad. So we cannot say that it's like perfect practice for 6 months. But that's just an idea. And the beginner stuff I was doing, like, so this is 2016, 17, 16, 18, you can see how many bad stuff I've been doing. So yes, quite a bit of progress, I think. 2018. What other have I done? This kind of stuff. Those are old ones. I've also done poses. From reference, of course. In 2018, actually. But this is more recent, like 2019. These two. Painting is very different from, like, so you can see how many bad stuff I've done, actually. drawing is very frustrating, actually. The only way to get better is to continue drawing. 2018. I don't see. 18. So yes, those are the old stuff for me. I think I have some more somewhere else, but anyway. Some studies. Same, it's 18. 18 too. This was from imagination, actually. Sketches here and there. So yes, you can see. Usually people don't like to show that, actually, because this is the behind the scenes, actually, like the things that you don't want people to see because it's bad. And takes some time. I've been doing a lot of studies too, something like this is from Snatch. But again, what I said is this is not my main stuff. I'm trying to do a lot of stuff in life and I don't have enough time. This can be frustrating sometimes. I think this was from 2016, actually. Yes, old stuff. 2016 too. Yes, I don't think I have that much more than that. Anyway, let's go back to learning some stuff. Or at least practicing, because practicing now isn't, it's learning but with the muscles, you know, making the hand move. Thanks, that's nice, but that's not true, Ross and Chair Studio. Objectively, that's not true. I think I'm much more paying attention to structure right now in my learning. This helps me getting better results, but I still have to learn tons of stuff. Again, I'm far from the level I want. And it will constantly change, I know. So this is like going for unreachable level, you know, because each time you're trying to reach for another level because your taste updates. Oh. Because it's late, my English starts to be very terrible. Oh, you see, that's Stretchly. And Stretchly is actually bad because it breaks for whatever reason, it breaks the pressure sensitivity of realistic paint. So I have to save. I have to quit while saving. I have to quit Stretchly. I have to reopen realistic paint. And I have to reopen. Don't understand why. Yeah, that's quite funny actually. The first time I saw that, I was like, that's not how I've named my stuff. I didn't name it. And it's like awesome painting. Real. So cool painting. It's like cheers you up. It's totally not right, but it's like funny. Proportion alert. That's need to be bigger. I need to thicken that. You have it in your clipboard, isn't it, Russ? I should create a bot automatically saying it. Like each time it's seeing the question, what's your brush, what's the program, what's your config? A chatbot basically. Could be fine actually. I'm going to do that maybe. Maybe next time I will stream on Krita so nobody asks. No, just kidding. It's funny to see how people are very wanting to know software's name. More than actual drawing stuff. Don't get me wrong, I've done that before too. I've asked many times for software. What is the best software for drawing? What software can draw for me? And the software is called the hand, the brain. Like if you look at people like Leyendecker, like Anders Zorn, like Caravaggio, they are pretty much good render engines that were alive. Okay, it's not 60 FPS, but so I cannot share the reference that I'm using, but if you want to look at them, they are from Graphite Studio. They have pretty good reference, 360-degree references actually. They are not that expensive to buy, and they are pretty good in terms of like lighting, anatomy. And by no means I'm affiliated to anybody, be it Realistic Paint or Graphite Studio. I just like their products, so telling their names there. That's all. Not sponsoring anything. It's really hard when the tilt is making very fat brush for me. Sometimes it's better to erase. And redo. Again, drawing is very iterative. Okay. So this one is more like that. And for the final drawing, I'm going to do a drawing from imagination. This is usually how I practice. Usually I'm drawing like from references, sorry, and then I'm drawing from imagination. Just to apply the knowledge that I've seen during my practice session. And I like to also take some time, to compose the drawing board that I'm creating there. I think it's always nice to try different compositions with your poses. It helps creating a more interesting and dynamic board, because at the end, it's even if it's practice, you can still try to make something beautiful out of it, or not beautiful, but something like composed. Here, after watching for it, I can really feel that this is very big, so I don't like to do that, but in this case I will do it. I will correct a bit the proportions like this. You can see it's hard to correct with the size of my brush. And this is something I should get a strike for. Like a training strike. Okay, so now I'm going to draw from imagination. Usually when I'm drawing from imagination, I like to do bust studies, or like not studies, but bust views. And today I'm going to do a female view. But I'm maybe going to do a bit more than, maybe I'll try to add some hand. Okay, when I'm drawing from imagination, I like to push the style a bit more, to do more cartoon stuff, cartoony Disney-like stuff. That's what I like. So that's what I'm looking for. So I'm going just to lay down some proportions here for the face. So if I'm looking at this, can make the ribcage a bit more solid behind. Imagining that the hand will drop down to the other side. I can make the hand a bit more big. In fact, I don't think I'm going to make the thumb go out. I'm just going for now to do something like that. Okay, seems nice. Okay, let's find the box for the pelvis, so maybe something like that. So the great trochanter is here, therefore I can adapt the sacrum there, the leg like this, and you see how I can make the reference come back in my head to do what I want. It's much more messy, of course, because I'm like in I would say I'm in a fight mode, as you can see. I fight for the pose, the right pose. I put a lot of stroke, a lot of mark on the paper, on the canvas, but because I'm exploring, actually, it doesn't matter if I'm like wasting layers. Actually, I can put as much layer as I want. I can like draw as many strokes as I want. It's just that what I'm doing here is researching, exploring, actually. So now I can erase stuff, and I can come back on my drawing. Here I'm going to simplify. Actually, I'm going to add the thumb. And let's make this hand a bit more feminine. By first, I'm going to push the fingers a bit more, like that, and taper a bit the index finger. Oh my gosh, the ads on Spotify are pretty bad. So if this arm is there, that's probably it's going there. And then I'm going for more shape design. I know shape design is hard. So let's shade this. So this is a round form. We can add the scapula right there. I'm going to put close, don't worry. It's just I'm doing the anatomy, and this is the first stage to do when you want to make a solid character. In my opinion, actually I'm not able to draw perfect closes on top of a character that is not anatomically correct. Not correct, but at least solid. And when I mean solid is like made of solid forms. Because now you can go on top of that and put closes in a much more easy fashion. So let's add, for instance, let's say that here we will add like a simple gin. We have all the creases already there for us, as you can see. We know where we want, when we need to turn. We can add a belt if we want. We know that we can put a line down here for the seam. If we want, we can add a seam in the center like that, and we know where to place it. And I'm not an expert in closes, but you can see how easier it is to place things. Let's say you want to add the pockets. You know that they will turn around with the rest, so you can add them like that. And you can see I'm not placing the anatomy just for fun. I'm placing the anatomy because it helps me doing the rest, basically. So if I want to add a shirt, I can go over, and I know that this is in front of the rest, so you can see that here if I need to drop, for instance, the shirt, and I know where will be the contact points. Let's say that it's let's say that I have this kind of opening there. I can do that, and I see where the forms will wrap around, and this is, like, for me at least, really useful. And a lot of like artists are actually using this process. There is a guy that is doing a very impressive ArtStation series. Like, I think his name is Tellurian. And he's even, in his case, he's even drawing the skeleton of each model he's doing. So this is like insane in terms of work he's putting in its things. The amount of work he's putting is like, it takes like 10 hours, I think, to create one image. But I guess he's right, because the result is quite amazing. really don't like this finger. And I want to make a fan. Something like that will be much nicer, I think. Fingers are hard. Hands are hard. They're really hard to simplify. Even the best artists are struggling with hands when you're listening to them. This looks not right. Let me try to think how I can get around this one. If I can simplify more. This is bad because I've created a very bad tangent right now, but I'm just exploring with different poses that I could make. Maybe this is better. Maybe, you know what, I'm going to change the length of this. I'm cheating because it's late and I want to go to sleep. Actually, it's really late. Anyway, I'm not very convinced with this, but for now I'm going to let the hand like that, work on something else and come back to the hand. Sometimes it's good to take a fresh eye on some things where you struggle, especially. No, I'm not going to add that. Not like that actually. But I can add maybe something. Okay, I'm just going to add a bit of shading. And I'm going to close the live. I think I've made the lower arm a bit too long, so I'm going to cheat my way. One thing that's cool to do when you want to finish like a drawing is to outline it with thicker lines. Like if you were doing a sticker, sorry. Gives a nice graphical shape language on top of your sketch. can also add some shit. Not some shit. You can add some wrinkles, some folds. This could be much straighter, in fact. Yes. I don't like this leg. What I don't like is this curve. Here I'm gonna make the leg a bit shorter. This is too short. I think this is better like that. Okay, let's clean that. This is really bad practice. I shouldn't have done that at this stage. I mean, it's not terrible, but something that should have been solved before. So again, adding thickness to the outline. Maybe not too much here, but anyway. I have a lot of room for improvement here and there, but I guess also this is what happens when you're getting tired. Adding some folds, wrapping around the forms. So pressing H, it's important to see your drawing in the opposite from the opposite side. I think you can spot a lot of mistakes there. But here, even though it's not perfect, I think I'm gonna stop. Maybe I will remove this, I don't know the name in English of this kind of jewelry, but maybe I will remove them and let the arm as a normal arm. Maybe this is too much. This curve I can make it much nicer like that. You can see how more elegant it is when you bracelet, okay, like in French. Okay, so I hope you learned something in this live. Probably the next one I'm not going to talk. I'm going to spread a bit the figures. Make more room around them. Make clear that the index finger is in front of the rest of the thumb especially. Non, j'ai pas appris ça à l'école. J'ai appris ça tout seul. En lisant des bouquins et en regardant des tutos. Et en achetant des cours. Okay. I guess thanks for watching. This is from imagination. I like to state it. And this is from reference. I think it's important not to lie to yourself and to be conscious of your level at both type of skills, I would say. So, I hope you liked it. J'espère que vous avez apprécié. À tous ceux qui sont en France, bonne nuit, c'est l'heure. And thanks. See you.